In this lesson, we will talk about dictionaries. Dictionaries are like lists, but instead of having the elements organized by index, elements have keys. Let's say we want to store information about a person. We could do it with a list. So person equals, let's start a new list, and now let's put some information about this person. So John, last name Green, let's say he was born in 1980, and he was born in Canada. Now that we created the list, we know that this is first name, last name, year of birth, and country of birth. But if we had received that list, let's say from a web service, would we know what those informations are? We wouldn't, right? It would be very confusing. So for that case, it would be much better to have a dictionary. So to start a new dictionary, we use curly braces. Each element of a dictionary is always composed by a key-value pair. So in this case, we need a key, which could be first name, and then colon, and the value we had, which was John. Now, a comma to start the second element of the dictionary. Now let's get the type of the variable person, and we can see is a dictionary. Now it's much clearer what those informations are. If we want to get the first name of the person, we can just type person, and then using braces, but instead of using an index, we're going to use the key we want. So first, name. Dictionaries are used in most programming languages, but normally they have different names, like an object in JavaScript or an associative array in PHP. Dictionaries in Python are also mutable, so we can change the value of a property. So let's type person, and now let's say we had the birth year wrong, so let's change it. It was actually 1979. Now we just changed the value associated to the key birth year. We can also add new keys to the dictionary. So person, let's add a marital status. And now we just added a new element, so a new key value pair. And the keys in the dictionary are also called properties. So we just added a new property to this dictionary. The values of this dictionary are mostly strings. So we have a string, another one here. We only have one number, but those values can be of any data type. We can have strings, numbers, lists, tuples, and even dictionaries. So let's add a new property called children. And now we want to add a list of children. So John has a daughter named Natalie, and a son named Ethan. Now a small challenge for you. John just had another baby called Anna. Can you add her to the list of John's children? Just pause the video and get back here after you do it. So since we have a list associated to this property, we can just do person, children, which we know it's going to return this list if we do it. So we can just use append Anna. And now we just added Anna to the list of John's children. Now let's see what happens if we try to get a property that doesn't exist. So, person, let's try to get his age. Now we couldn't get it because there's no property called age, and we got an error, which would be very bad if it was in the middle of our program. So to avoid that, we can use the get function. So instead, let's do person.get. And now we can try to get a property called age. And if it finds it, it's going to return the value associated to this property. If not, we can return a message like invalid property. So it didn't find a property called age, so it returned a message. Let's try to do the same thing, but this time, let's try to get the children. And now it just returned the value associated to this property. Now something really useful to know, let's say we have a variable called key. And associated to this variable, we had a string. Let's say the string is first name. Now if we do it like this, so person and then pass a variable here, we can get that property, because doing that is pretty much the same of doing this. So this is really useful, and we're going to do it a lot in the future. To finish this lesson, let me just show you how to erase all information from a dictionary. So we can just do person.clear. Okay, now we are ready to move forward. If you have any questions, just leave it in the Q&A section. See you! Hello, let's do an exercise using dictionaries. Create a program with a predefined dictionary for a person. Include the following information about the person: name, gender, age, address, and phone. So like we did last time, you're going to start your program by creating a dictionary, and then you're going to add those properties and some values as an example. Then ask the user what information he wants to know about the person and print the value. So let's say the user types name, then you're going to have to print the value associated to the key name. Display an alternative message if the information can't be found. All right, good luck. When you're finished, come back here to see the solution. So we're going to start by creating a new variable called person, which will be a dictionary. So I asked you to create a name. So let's use John Green. Gender. All right, now let's ask the user what information he wants to know. So let's create a new variable that could be called key. And let's ask the user what information do you want to know about the person. Now let's create a new variable called, let's say, result. Then we're going to use the get method in that dictionary, so person.get. For the key, we're going to use the key variable we just created with the user input. And if we can't find it, we just write a message here. So let's write that information is not available. All right, let's save this and run. What information do you want to know about the person? Let's try name. Nothing happens. And why is that? It's because I didn't do anything with the result, because I'm stupid. So let's print the result. Let's run it again. And now let's ask for the name. And now we have the name back. Let's run it again. And now let's choose a property that doesn't exist. Let's say children. That information is not available, so our program is working fine. But now let me show you a problem that we are gonna have here. Let me run it again. What happens if the user types name like this? That information is not available. And why? This is because Python is case sensitive. If the user types it like this key is not going to be found, and this is not good. So how can we solve this problem? Let's go back to the program. Every time we work with user input to find something, we should make sure that what we're trying to find is in lowercase and the user input is also in lowercase to avoid this kind of problem. So our keys are already in lowercase. Now all we have to do is convert the user input to lowercase. So we can do that by using the lower method. So how can we do it? We can apply it here. After getting the input, we can apply it to any string, or we can apply it here. Let's just apply right after getting the input. So when this string is returned, we can use dot lower. And this method is going to transform the user input to lowercase. So let's try it out. Now, let me write it like this and see what happens. It doesn't matter how I write it, it's going to find the key. So our problem is solved. So there you have the solution for this exercise. If you have any questions, just leave it in the Q&A section. I'll see you in the next video.